Namaste everybody, welcome to today's practice. We've got an hour-long session today, and it's an evening wind-down practice, so there's not going to be any chaturangas or up dogs. There are going to be down dogs, and you may want to find yourself a strap or a scarf or a belt, something that you can hold in your arms either wide or drop down the back, as we're going to do some shoulder openers in a bit. Okay, let me just check that this is working properly. I think so. Okay, so then we're going to bring ourselves into practice by lying down. So we're going to bring ourselves onto the mat. We're going to lie down. Hello, Pippi. And we're going to bring our feet flat to the floor. We're going to have our belt handy because we might need it now to open up the legs. Could you go in your bed, Pip, please? Okay, so lying down on the floor, feet flat on the mat, resting your hands on your belly or out to the sides, whatever's comfortable to you, and lifting up your head, lifting up your shoulders, settling as best you can, Pippi, and carefully settling and relaxing. Feeling the weight of your body on the floor. And then we're going to bring ourselves to a straight-legged position. So whilst I'm looking for a straight leg, I don't want the leg to be locked, and I'd rather the leg wasn't vertical if you can't get it to vertical. So if you grab your belt or your scarf, your strap, you can stirrup your right leg. Keep your left leg bent for the moment. And we're going to bring ourselves carefully into a straighter leg position. If that leg is away at the moment and you start to push through the heel and draw the energy up the leg without locking out the knee, great. Settle yourself down to the floor, breathing in and bringing that leg up. This leg can remain bent, or if you want to increase the stretch, you can stretch this leg away. Keep breathing here. Fantastic. Carefully taking the weight, and we're going to use both arms here and try and draw the leg in just momentarily before we take that away. Relax that leg away a little bit. Keep your left hand on your left hip. Activate the left leg to help and push through the heel as you start to draw this leg out and down to the side. As soon as you feel that hip rolling off, then you start to settle. So staying here, stretching away and lengthening. Keeping breathing here. You keep your hand on your hip, I keep my hand on my dog. Keep breathing. Lovely. And then carefully does it. Soften that knee if you need to bring that leg back up. Now, whether your leg was bent or straight on, the left leg was bent or straight on that one, that's fine. I'm going to carefully swap hands now and roll over to the left-hand side. Pippi, you're in the way. Move. Budge. Go on. Away, away, away. Stretch the leg out wide, push through the heel, straighten both legs here, rest your head down to the floor, or you can settle something underneath your head, and then take a deep breath in. We're going to stretch back and away across the mat. Stretching here, breathing. Turn the head first, then the body, and bring yourself back to center. Hug both knees in just briefly and swap the stirrup over onto the other side. So now we've got the belt on the left, right leg bent to start with, settling yourself back down onto the floor, pushing through the heel and drawing the energy up the leg. And the leg is straightening but not locked, and I don't mind if it's not vertical. So pushing and activating the leg is the most important. Bringing the leg up if you feel you can, both hands here and draw it in, stretch the leg away. Keep breathing. Opening up into those hamstrings, activating the legs, opening the lower back a little bit, taking a deep breath in, keeping the right hand on the outer right hip. Carefully going to push down and let this leg go down towards the floor. As soon as that hip starts to roll off, that's where you stop. You activate the right leg as an anchor, whether it's bent, pushing the foot into the floor, or whether it's straight. Never work with children and animals, they say, don't they? Keep breathing, keep stretching, and keep lengthening. Then carefully does it, soften that knee off, bring it back to center. We're going to roll over onto the right hand side. This is a bit tricky because of my mic pack. So I'm going to prop myself up, but you can lie down. I'm going to bring that leg across, straightening the leg underneath, swap hands, and then carefully twist and roll over to the other side. Keep breathing here. Keep legs active and stretch away behind you. Turning the head if it's comfortable, or not if it's not. Keep breathing. Paying close attention into this quite deep twist. Head back to center, bend the leg, and bring your knees back up. Release the belt off, pop it out to the side, and then just make sure the mic's still on. Lovely. Straighten yourself up on the mat and hug your knees into your chest. Carefully does it. Lovely. We're going to take that again, but this time we don't need the belt, and we're going to bend the legs so the knees are 90 degrees to the floor. So perpendicular thighs to the floor, and nicely settle straight over the hip bones. Sorry, Pippi. I've got to stretch my arms wide here, tuck the chin in and stretch through the top of the head, palms down, and then carefully going to just roll over to one side. Rolling over, you can prop a proper pillow blanket underneath you if you prefer. Option to turn the head away, you keep breathing here. Band is working a little bit here now to support these deep twists. And then breathe in back to center. Carefully bring yourself back up and rolling over to the other side. So carefully does it. Focusing then when you're down, stretching wherever that may be, stretching away through the top of the shoulder and through the arm. Breathing here, deep breath in, back to center, bring the knees in, hug the knees into the chest, and then carefully we're going to bring ourselves to kneeling. So we'll bring ourselves, carefully does it now, onto kneeling. We're going to take some cat-cow, very slow. I'm going to turn myself sideways. So I'd like you to sort of really think about the slowness of this. So you may feel there's an urgency in some practices where you're trying to fit a lot in. This is designed as an evening wind-down practice. So you're very much focusing on taking everything down a notch. But equally, we're putting quite a lot of movement in because, move Pippi, because we may have been more static during the day than we normally would have been. If we're working at home, we're maybe finding ourselves sitting quite a lot. So, knees under the hip bones, wrists, elbows and shoulders nicely aligned, big cat paws. Push into the floor, extending the spine first. We're going to push into the floor, suck the belly up, tuck the tail in, separate the shoulder blades and press into the floor and tuck the chin to the chest. And then breathing in, reverse, slide the shoulder girdle down towards the bottom, lift the tail, looking up, dipping the belly, concertinaing the body but still pressing the floor away. Breathing here. Out breath, sucking everything back in. Pushing in, opening up. And breathing in, sliding and moving. Really slow movements, stopping and breathing in each pose if you prefer. And breathing out. So really aiming to stretch and flex and open the spine. Poor old Snoopy's being sat on by Pippi. Oh dear. Lovely. Come to stillness here. We're going to take our striking tiger now. So we're going to drop our weight into our left knee, push the right knee and the right hand into the floor. We're going to stretch the left arm away, plug it in, and then stretch the right leg away. We're not going for height, we're going for length. Just carefully drop the hip bone lightly and stretch away. Sucking in the bandhas here, breathing and holding. Both limbs nice and active. And then leg down and arm down. Swapping sides, sorry, just blowing the dog hair off the mat. Pushing the right knee and the left hand into the floor. Pushing up and away. Stretching the right arm out, plugging it back in. And then stretching the left leg out. Going for length, not height. And then plugging both back in, dropping the hip lightly. Breathing here. Your back foot is a nice anchor. And your bandhas are working hard. Keep breathing. Pelvic floor in, tummy in. Release leg, release hand. Into a swan stretch. So stretching out over the bottom. And opening those arms up to the sides of the mat, scooping the shoulder blades wide, armpits fly down to the floor, tuck the chin in. Settle for a moment here. We're going to prepare to come back into a variation of tiger. So breathing in, coming back up, preparing the back and the shoulders and the hips here towards our sun salutations. Back into your cat pose. Find your cat, nicely aligned, pushing the floor away. Keep breathing here. This time we're going to push left knee and right hand into the mat. Going to stretch the left arm forward. Stretch the right leg back into your standard striking tiger position. And then we're going to abduct. So we're going to take the arm and the leg out. Keep breathing. So abducting away. Warming up the outer hip here, a bit harder than it looks. Bring the legs and the arms back in and carefully lower down. Drop your weight onto the other side, so pushing the right knee and the left hand into the floor, lengthening through the spine, bandhas in. Right arm, left leg, settle, dropping the hip, draw the energy up the limbs, and then carefully opening out to the side. Keeping breathing here, still drawing the energy into the bandhas, still breathing. Drishti is the floor. Bringing back to center and exit with grace and style into your swan stretch. And this time we're going to incorporate a puppy pose. So we're going to stretch away and we're going to lengthen. Then we're going to bring ourselves back up. Puppy feels appropriate, Pippi, doesn't it? Yes, you're right in the way. Again. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate puppy pose the other way round because she's right in front of my face. So I'll demonstrate it to the front first and then to the side. So the knees are above the ankles again in our standard cat-cow knee position, but the hands are going to come right out in front and slightly wider. So really long. We're going to press our hands into the floor as we just drop the heart down. Now what tends to happen is that we start to lose definition in the arms and hang out of the shoulders. So I'd like you to push into the floor, push all the hands in, draw the energy up the arms and keep the elbows off the floor. The bottom should stay above the knees, but the chest and the heart melt towards the floor. This is Shoshasana, puppy pose. So I'll turn to the side and demo that again. So you might want to move yourself back a bit if you want to keep your hands off a dirty floor. Stretching away, bring the hips over the knees, lengthening away, push the arms in, lengthen, sucking in the bandhas and drop the heart to the floor. Keep the arms active, drop the head and lengthen. Keep the tail lifting, keep the bandhas working, dropping the head and the heart to the floor. Lovely. Breathing in, releasing off into your swan stretch or child pose. So extended swan, or tucking yourself in for child pose. And remembering that in this next sequence, you can build in child pose, swan stretch wherever you want to. If you need to take a rest, there's no need to stay in down dog for as long as I would suggest. You can come down to child pose. Okay, carefully does it then. Bring yourself out. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves into our down dogs. So hands forward, big dog paws this time. Roll the shoulders back and down. Build the pose where we lift the tail to the ceiling and the back is lengthening. Soft knee, please Pippi. Soft knees, long back, stretching away. Keep breathing here. Looking up, carefully does it. Now we're going to be doing some striding. So carefully, I'm just going to indicate that if you find striding difficult, we're going to bring our knees down, bring the right leg through, look up, and then that's the easiest way to transfer your weight forward if you find it difficult to bring your legs through. So otherwise, looking up, striding to the front of the mat and extending. Softening the knees and pushing the floor away and bringing yourself up to your sun salutations. Okay, so first of all, we're going to take a stretch out and wake up the hamstrings. Okay, ready for movement, and then we start to take it down a level again. So carefully does it. Taking a deep breath in, we're going to bring the arms up in front, open up the armpits, stretch up and drop the shoulders, star the hands, open up the toes and press them into the floor, soften the knees but push the floor away, take the energy from the floor into the bandhas and fold. And breathe out, fold. We're going into the half pose here, so hands to shins, roll the shoulders back, knees are bent, stretch forward, but I'd like you to lift the heart maybe a bit higher than normal. So we're going to really lift and try and activate the muscles in the back that maybe haven't had as much use under lockdown as we would like. Keep breathing here, keep stretching away. Breathe out, fold. Soft knees, absolutely fine. Drape yourself down if you're going down to the floor or not. Stay in Ardha, the half pose. Push the floor away, deep breath in, all the way back up. Stretch up and breathe out. Lovely. So we're going to take a truncated sun salutation now. So no chaturanga, no up dog, but there will be down dog. So we're just going to take hands to shins as well into a soft uttanasana. So it's a very sort of truncated practice. It's designed to move the body in all directions, but to also take it down into a state of rest, ready for bed. So take a deep breath in, sweep up. Breathe out, soften the knees, stretch forward, breathe out. Hands to shins, stretch away, lengthen. And then breathe out, fold. Soft knees, folding down. Place the hands, stride right, stride left to down dog. Settle. So knees bent, long back, if you need to rest at any time. Make sure you're activating from the front end of the pose so it's not soggy and you're not hanging out of the shoulders. Take a deep breath in, look up, stride, or however you want to stride, using your knees. Left leg forward, right leg forward, hands to shins, roll the shoulders, lift the heart lightly, stretching, activate the back. Breathe out, fold, and then breathe in, soften, push the floor away, float yourself all the way back up, and breathe out. Number 2, deep breath in. Soften, breathe out, fold. Hands to shins, lift the heart, draw the shoulders down, lengthen. Breathe out, fold. Left leg back, right leg back to your down dog. Settle. Lengthen here. Keep long, keep soft with the knees, high in the heels. That's quite deliberate. So we're lengthening the back but not putting too much effort in. Deep breath in, look up, stride right, stride left, hands to shins, draw the shoulders down, lengthen, activate the back, breathe out, fold, and push the floor away, breathe in, floating up, stretching up, and breathing out. Number 3, deep breath in. You can vary the way the arms lift if you prefer. Breathe out, fold, softening the knees, hands to shins, roll the shoulders back and lengthen. And then breathe out, fold. Place, striding right again, and left to your down dog. Settle here.
Hopefully getting a little bit more fluid in your down dogs now, but keeping it nice and soft, and keep lengthening the back and lifting the tail. Breathing here. Taking a deep breath in, looking up, left forward, right forward. Hands to shins, roll the shoulders back, stretch away, activate the back. Breathe out, fold. Soften the knees, push the floor away, lift yourself all the way back up, stretch up and breathe out. Number 4, deep breath in and breathe out. Soften and fold. Hands to shins, draw the shoulders back, lengthen, lift the heart, activate the back. Breathe out, fold. Left leg back, right leg back to your down dog. Activate and just make sure you're nicely acquainted at the front end and then lengthening out of the shoulders and the back, out the back end. Heels high, knees bent. If you want to go a bit deeper in the knee bend, stretch the back away. Important to get that length in the back. Head level with the spine. Keep breathing here. Deep breath in, look up. Right leg forward, left leg forward. Extend, hands to shins, lift the heart. Soft knees. Breathe out, fold. Soften the knees a bit more, push the floor away. Float yourself back up, stretch up. And breathe out. Final round then, number 5. Arms in front, open up the armpits. Stretch up, crescent Tadasana. Soften the knees, breathe out, fold. Hands to shins, roll the shoulders back, lifting and sucking the bandas in, and breathe out, folding. Place, striding right and left to your down dog and settle. Heels high, knees bent. Make it a really sort of deep dog if you prefer. Heels high, push the floor away, suck the energy into the belly and the bandas. Deep breath in, look up, stride left, stride right, extend, lift the heart, press the shins, and breathe out, fold. Soften the knees, push the floor away, lift and lengthen, and breathe out. Take a moment in Tadasana then. This is a pose we tend to sort of ignore as we fly past it, a bit like sort of scenery on a motorway. So we're going to open up the toes, press all of the toes into the floor, all 4 corners of the feet. Might want to weeble around a little bit. Push the floor away, lift up out of the knees, lift up out of the front of the hips, and just curl the tail under lightly as the heart lifts. Bring the hands to Namaste as you feel the collarbones sort of opening and widening a little bit like an oyster shell. Tucking the chin in, stretching through the top of the head. And there's enough effort to hold the pose, but not too much effort. So hold it here, breathing. Bandhas engaged, so you're going into your deeper Ujjayi breathing if that's what suits you. So we're going to take a variation now. So we're going to take Sun Salutation B, but there's going to be no Utkatasana, no fierce pose. Okay, we're going to take a high Anjaneyasana lunge as we step back. Okay, and we're going to take both sides, and that is 1 round. Okay, so there are quite a few. So we're going to do 2 of 2, if you see what I mean, high, and then 2 of 2 with the knee down. So if you need to grab your blanket and stick it underneath your knee, that's absolutely fine. So take a deep breath in, sweep up, breathing. Breathe out, soften the knees and fold. Same Ardha Uttanasana here. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen, lift the heart. And breathe out, fold. Place, stride right, high heel, front knee bent, shin vertical. Push the floor away and draw the legs together as you breathe in. Up to you on the arm position. The higher the arm, the bigger the strain on the back. Breathe out, lower. Place and stride back into your down dog. Settle here. So we had right leg back first, so we're going to take right leg forward this time. Deep breath in, look up. Right leg forward, if you need to use your knees, that's fine. High heel, vertical shin, push the floor away, lift up, breathing in. It is a balance. Arms to suit you and your back. Lengthen, activate the back leg and the hip, and breathe out all the way down. Place, look up, and bring that leg forward. Hands to shins, roll the shoulders, lift. Breathe out, lower. Push the floor away, soggy knees. Lift up all the way, back up. and breathe out. Lovely. Number 2, same again. Deep breath in, lifting up, stretching up, and breathing out, folding. Breathing in, stretching away, lifting the heart, and breathing out, folding. Place. Stride left this time. Front knee carefully over the ankle, high heel, push the floor away, breathing in, draw the energy up, Expelliarmus out of the hands, carefully does it, keep breathing here. And then breathing out all the way down, place the hands back into your down dog, settle for a moment, roll, knees bent, high heels, lengthening the back, focusing on keeping everything soft enough, breathing. Lovely, deep breath in. This time, left leg goes forward, right heel high. Balance yourself at the front, push the floor away, draw the energy up the legs into the bandhas and settle. And then breathe out all the way down. Balance, bring that leg forward, hands to shins, lift the chest, activate the back, lengthen. And breathe out, fold. Soft knees, push the floor away, lift up, stretch up. And breathe out. Lovely. So we've done both sides with the high. Now we're going to go both sides with the low. Get something to shove underneath your knee if you need it. Sofa cushion would also be fine. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, soften and fold. Hands to shins. Lift and activate. And breathe out, fold. Place, striding right, as far back as you can now, dropping the knee but keeping the heel high, push the floor away, curl the tail under as you lift up, taking care of that front knee, lengthening, lengthening. Breathe out, lower, place the hands up off the back knee, stride back into your down dog. Settling here, take a moment, soft knees, high heels still the same soggy rules. Balance between ease and effort today and working more towards the ease. Deep breath in, look up, lovely. Going to pick the right leg up, bring it forward, lengthening, dropping that back knee down but keeping the toes curled under, knee above the ankle, push the floor away, opening deeply now into the hamstrings, into the quads and the hip flexors of the left hip. Deep breathing here. Doesn't have to be as high and as elaborate. You choose. Breathe out all the way down. Place the hands up off the back knees. Tent the hands, look up. Bring the leg forward. Extend, lift the heart. Activate the back. And breathe out lower. Soft knees. Push the floor away. Float up. Lift up. Stretch up. And breathe out. So carefully then, one more time, taking the left step back. Deep breath in. Breathe out, soften and fold. Hands to shins, breathe in, activate. Lift the back, tip the tail. Breathe out, fold. Place. Left leg goes back. Knee down. Heel high. Knee balanced at the front. Breathe in, lift up. And breathe out all the way down. Place. Up off the back knee into your down dog. And settle, breathing here. High heels, soft knees, make it an elaborate one if you want to really lengthen out the back. Squatting almost into your very elongated pose. Deep breath in, look up. This time I'm going to bring the left foot forward, right knee down, heel high, balance that front knee. Deep breath in, pushing the floor away, but lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. It is a back bend if you're very high. Work to a level that suits you. Breathe out all the way down. Breathe in, look up, up off the back knee. Bring that leg forward as best you can. Activate and lift into your Ardha Uttanasana. And breathe out, fold. Still with the soft knees. Push the floor away. Breathe in all the way back up. Stretch up and hands to Namaste. Find your Tadasana again, so opening up the toes, activate the four corners of the feet, maybe lifting the arches, lifting out of the knees but not locking, lifting out of the front of the pelvis, curling under lightly, lifting the heart, opening the shoulders, tucking the chin in, lengthening, and hands to namaste. Settle here, breathing. Lovely. So we're going to take a warrior two now. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me more effectively. So we're going to take warrior two, leg bends, and we're going to work with the breath coming back to Tadasana after each section. Then warrior one, and then we're going to take, it's going to be a wider warrior one, so we're going to really activate the back, and then we're going to take some side arm stretches after that. So taking a deep breath in, I'm going to turn onto this side of the mat now, into your Tadasana. Deep breath in, we're going to stride the right leg back as best you can. Variations on a theme at the back leg. Lots of people have it parallel to the back of the mat. Some people turn it in a little bit. Up to you. Find where you can be comfortable and roughly drawing a line between heels or heel to midline of the back foot. And we're going to be wide enough so that you feel that the hips can stay level and the knees can be roughly aligned. What tends to happen then is everything starts to sag in, so we need to roll out and make sure that we're rolling open the hip joints and just settling into our position here. Drop the shoulders down. I find it helpful to bring the palms up first and then flip them over and draw the shoulders down the back and stretch away. Breathing here. So breathing out, breathing in, we're going to straighten. And breathing out, we're going to sink. Breathing in, straighten. And breathing out, sink. Straightening, number 3. And out, sinking. Number 4. Keep nice and long. Draw those shoulders down the back if they're rising. And 5. Working quite carefully, listening to the body and settling. Lovely. Very nice. I'm going to swivel to the middle. Okay. Soften the knees, push the floor away, lengthen. I'm going to turn to the other side. So turn the other foot out. Find your pose. Same rules apply. Carefully does it with the knee. Check that knee isn't sagging in. So just roll the inner thigh out, firm up the buttock, kick the heel in. Deep breath in, bring the arms up with the shoulders down and stretch away. Breathing in, straightening. Breathing out, settling. Caution that knee doesn't fly past the ankle. Breathing in, use the full Ujjayi breaths here. Breathing out. Try not to make them choppy. Breathing in, it's hard to talk and breathe. And breathing out. Breathing in, number 4. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Lovely. Settle for a moment. Hold the pose. Stretch away. Lovely. Release off. Swivel that leg back. Fantastic. We're going to turn to the other side now. So into a warrior one this time. So this time I'm going to face forward so you can see the variation on a theme. So we're going to bring ourselves toward the front of the mat. We're going to aim, and I've got quite a wide mat here. Your mat might not be as wide as mine, but I'm going to go quite wide in this warrior one. And I'm going to look to keep firming the back butt cheek all the time, to keep plugging that back heel in. So starting with a wider foot position, I'm going to bring the right foot back, swivel the toes out as best suits me so that I can put a bend in this front knee. And then, so firming that back buttock up, I'm going to be quite deep and try and push in and activate that back leg to try and get this hip round to the front. Lovely. Deep breath in, into the pose. If you don't want to have your hands high for lower back reasons, then you can bring them out to the side, fan them out, or just down to the hips. You decide. Keep breathing here. Breathing in, straighten. You know the drill. Breathing out, settling. Keep firming up that back leg, breathing in and breathing out. You'll notice it is a back bend, so work carefully. Breathing in and breathing out. That's number 3. Firming up the back again, breathing in and breathing out. 4. Final round, breathing in and breathing out. Settle, firm up again, square up and lengthen out of the front of the body. Still keeping even weight between front foot and back foot. Lovely. Carefully does it. You can spin around via your wide angle pose if you prefer, like we did in Warrior One. I'm just going to swap over and go on to the other side. So, feet quite wide, toes certainly out to the side, front knee bent, and then pushing in that back leg and trying to activate that back buttock and bring the hip round. Into your pose, deep breath in. Breathing in, straightening. Breathing out, settling. Keep firming up at the back. Breathing in, straightening. Keep nice and tall. Breathing out, settling. Breathing in, lifting. Breathing out, settling. Number 4. And last one. Settling, drawing the hands down the back, lengthening, lifting. Enjoying the pose. Smiling maybe. Bandhas working to support the back. Still firming up evenly through both feet. And breathing in, releasing. And bring yourself back to the front of your mat into your Tadasana. So again, firming up your Tadasana, lifting up, tucking the chin in. Taking some breaths here, settling. Curling the tail under lightly. Fantastic. So we're going to take variations on slow Warrior 2, Parsvarkanasana, Trikonasana, moving around right, left side. So again, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. So we're going to stride back with the right leg into our Warrior 2 like we did just a few moments ago. Chocked back foot or slightly in if that's preferred. Knee above the ankle, pressing in, even weight over. I'm trying to release the anterior tilt of the pelvis. So just push the heels into the floor and curl the tail under. Settling here, bring yourself into your warrior. Palms up if you prefer. Stretching away, lengthening, firming up, drawing the energy up the legs. And then carefully keep pushing down through both feet as we lengthen up and out into our Parsvarkanasana. So the knee above the ankle. A couple of things here. What tends to happen is that everyone starts to dive down to the floor. So what we want to do is try and stack the shoulders and the hips. So in order to do that, push both feet into the floor, but also push this arm into the floor. Lift the chest and rotate the right shoulder open. Stretching up and away, and lengthening. Again, enough balance between ease and effort here, finding the functional range conditioning that we want in these hip joints. Keep breathing. And then carefully does it, we're going to straighten into Trikonasana. So you can bring the arm back up, bring yourself back up if you prefer. Think about sitting up and out of the pelvis. It's not from the waist, although the waist will draw up. The change comes from the top of the femur, so top of the thigh bone. So you're kicking the thigh bones out behind you as you lengthen and slide down a wall behind you. Going to where you can. If it's pressing on the knees, not ideal, but above the knee, below the knee, onto the ankle. Stretch, push and lift. The same push that we had in our Parsvarkanasana we just did. And stretch up and lengthen. Drawing the energy up the legs, rolling the inner thighs out and pressing all 4 corners of the feet into the mat. Keep breathing here, keep lengthening. Doesn't matter how low you go, it's about the expansiveness of the pose. Lovely. Breathing in, soften that knee, come back up via Parsvarkanasana, pushing and lifting, lengthening. Breathe in, push through that front foot and bring yourself back up. Swivel through the side, feet together, knees bent, sit down a little bit and then turn to the side. So onto the other side now. Right leg might be forward this time. Knee bent at the front, chocking yourself, checking that sag of the knee, rolling the inner thigh out, drawing the tail underneath, kicking the heels into the floor. Opening up the arms into your warrior two and settling here. The weight is very much over the middle, not leaning forward. Breathing. Draw the energy in as you swivel and settle, avoiding the collapse, pushing and lifting, rolling the top shoulder open and drawing the energy into the feet. Lengthening here, enjoying the pose, the balance between ease and effort. Breathing in here. Bringing yourself back up, straightening that leg, checking that the knee again isn't sagging into the midline, bringing it, rolling it over, bending that knee, keeping a softness in the knee if that's a problem for you. Breathing in, stretching away, kicking those femurs, the heads of your thigh bones backwards and stretching. Resting the hand down where it's comfortable as long as it's not pressing on the knee and stretching up. So push and lift, lengthen, push and lift the legs, roll the inner thighs out, keep breathing. And again, not about how low you go here, about the length and expansiveness of the pose. Keep breathing. Lovely. Soften that off. Bring yourself back via your Parsvakonasana. Resting, bringing the arm up and over, pushing and lifting and stretching, just checking on that knee at the front and pushing the feet and the bottom into activity, sucking in the bandhas. Lovely. Settling here. Fantastic. Breathe in, open up, push through that front foot and bring your feet together. So carefully does it now. And we're going to jump or step the feet together and we're going to bring ourselves down to lying on the floor. So always a challenge, okay? Not always the most comfortable position, and I'm losing me wires here. So we're going to lie down on our fronts. We're going to take some variations on some lying poses, prone poses. So carefully does it now. Just check the mic. We're going to lie down on the floor. So flattening ourselves down. Carefully does it. Hopefully I won't attack the mic. I'm going to lift each leg out and lengthen away. Lovely. I'm going to bring ourselves into the bent arms, elbows out. So this is a different variation which we may not have done before. Okay, so it's a makrasana. So we're going to bring the elbows out to the sides and bring the hands together so they almost form a little diamond shape, a little triangle shape. Okay, the elbows are underneath the shoulders, roughly in line with the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. We're going to bring the right hand up and lift it onto the forehead. Lift up and lengthen and lift up the opposite leg. Keep dropping the left hip. Keep drawing the energy up the limbs. Keep breathing. You may not go as high as me. Bandha's working hard. Breathe out lower. Rest out and bend the lower limbs if you need to. Make a little pillow. Turn your head to the side if you need to rest. Lining up those elbows again. Lowering down, drawing the shoulders down the back. Bring the hands to the forehead. Lift and lift the opposite leg. Keep breathing here. It's almost like a weird salute. Bandha's in, dropping the right hip, activating the lower back muscles. Keep breathing. Lowering down, carefully does it. Make a little pillow, bend your legs, release the lower back. Get a little free myofascial release of the quads at the front of the thighs as well. Breathing here. Lovely. So this time, taking a down dog, we're going to bring ourselves, hands underneath the shoulders, through the knees to a swan stretch, to a down dog counter pose, tuck the knees under, lifting up. All right, Pippi? Stretching away, good girl. Dog hairs everywhere. Lovely, settling here. To knees, back down to the front. Okay, so lying down, settling here into a salabhasana, so locust pose. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves up, hands back and down. So rather than having the hands out in front, we're going to rest the chin on the floor. Not always comfortable for either sex. And we're going to press the hands back, roll the shoulders back and down, palms to the floor. Deep breath in, going to lift and press, draw the shoulders down to the bottom and lift the legs. And then if you want to, you can draw the hands off, but you don't have to. You can just concentrate on working into the lower back. Breathing here, lowering down, releasing off. And then carefully does it, going back up into that pose. So, hands back, draw the shoulder blades up and down, press the hands in, lift, and then if you want to, lift the arms, but not necessarily. Stretching up and releasing off. Carefully does it then, going back into puppy pose. So, usually we take a swan stretch child pose, but sometimes that just bends the back in the wrong way, makes it curve a little bit too much. So back into puppy pose, hips above the knees, hands right up the front. Okay, press into the floor, draw the shoulders back, drop the heart and the face down to the floor, lift the tail. Breathing here. Keep the legs, keep the arms active. Keep those elbows off the floor. Keep pushing in. And release off. Lovely. Fantastic. So carefully does it then. We're going to bring ourselves into our final semi-prone position. So I'm going to turn sideways for this one. This is going to be an elbow plank. And we're going to use it as a sort of wave-like motion. Being very careful, listening to the back. If you prefer to, you can take a rest here into swan stretch child pose. So plank is a really good anterior core builder, and it also builds a bit more sort of functional range in the movement of the spine if you use this wave-like motion. So we're going to bring ourselves into our elbow plank. So again, starting on the floor again, on our fronts. This time the elbows are very much underneath the shoulder heads and the hands are interlaced. Going to roll the shoulders down, push the forearms into the floor, lift each leg away, and then carefully tuck the toes under, and we're going to push and roll up to knees, and then finally the knees come off the floor. Don't go too high, then the knees go down, the thighs, the pelvis, and lowering down carefully to the floor. Breathe out, lifting up, rolling in a wave-like motion. The knees are the last thing to come off if you want to, and then lowering down, knees, rolling down. Keep sucking in the bandhas and roll yourself down. Breathe out, bring yourself up, pushing in, lifting up, rolling up, knees off. Don't go too high with the tush, and then lower down, knees, thighs, belly, and chest. One more time if you can. Push in, roll up, off into the knees, knees up, hold, breathing, lengthening. Keep the head in line with the spine, knees down, roll down, and release off. Rest yourself down, make a little pillow, release off. Lovely. Excellent. Just make sure your lower back has released nicely there. Fantastic. And coming through to seated. So your option here, you can just swivel around and sit down, or you can take a down dog, lift yourself up, just check in with the lower back here. We're going to do some seated forward folds, and then carefully bring yourself through to seated. So this is going to be a cross-leg position. So if you need your sofa cushion or your brick to pop underneath your bottom, that's absolutely fine. So we're looking here to have a variation on our Sukhasana cross-legged pose. Just going to check the mic is still on. Yes, it is. Okay, so carefully does it then. The shins are going to be level with each other. Okay, and the feet might be quite far apart. Okay, so stretching away. They might come out a bit further than you're used to. Okay, so sitting up nice and tall. Curling the tail under here, and then contrary to popular belief, what we tend to try and do with this, with the shins in parallel, is then flatten the knees down. We're not going to do that today. We're going to lift the knees up, we're going to lift and lengthen through the top of the head, and we're going to bring the hands underneath. And now we're going to push down against the arms and try to resist with the arms. But use that push of the hands to lift and lengthen so you feel that same back activation that you had in your Ardha Uttanasana, your half forward folds that we were doing much earlier in the class. Keep breathing here. Doesn't matter how low you go, it's again about the activation. You should feel a deep activation in the hips, particularly the outer hips. Keep breathing. Carefully swap the legs over. So I'm afraid we need to do it on the other side. So work those feet out to the sides of the mat. Work the shins roughly parallel to each other and parallel to the front of the mat. Lift the knees, bring the hands through, lift and lengthen, banders in, breathe out. So there's a push-pull going on with the arms, there's a push down and a drop down of the shoulders and the hands, and we're going to push and lengthen, push and lengthen. So there's a little bit more sort of resistance and isometric work in this pose than normal. Keep breathing here, but it should pay dividends for those outer hips. Runners, cyclists, this is a new one for you. Keep breathing. Lovely. Bringing yourself up, releasing off. Release